Hi everybody, my name is Rory Williams. I'm the Director of Winemaking and Viticulture at Leap Winery in Rutherford in the heart of Napa Valley. And I'm here to talk to you about the 2016 and 2017 vintages. 2016, about as average, about as normal as a vintage you get in Napa. We ended up with about average rainfall, had a little bit of an early start to spring. That mostly a kind of a condition, I think, kind of residual from the drought, which we were coming off of several drought years in a row. And that really set up for a very smooth vintage overall. Even though it started a little early, we had a nice set. The summer, every summer's got its heat spikes, but nothing too crazy in 2016. And then we entered harvest, had one of the most mild and boring Augusts you can imagine, which as a grower, that's what you want. You want these grapes to come into harvest looking beautiful and tasting beautiful. And that's what we got in 2016. And I think that as that played out through September, got a little bit of heat in September. Every vintage is you got to deal with a little bit of heat spike here and there, but really nothing too out of the ordinary, nothing too crazy. And the wines, I had the 2016 earlier today, it's just got that kind of classic Napa profile. So lots of, plenty of richness, plenty of density, but it's got that kind of high tone fruit, starting to flash a little bit of that floral and kind of dried complex herbs to the wine. Really kind of what you think of when you think of classic Napa vintages. Next, to talk a little bit about 2017. First off, we talked about the average rainfall in 2016 being really exciting coming off the drought years. Well, 2017, the winter of 2016, 2017, that was the drought buster. In Rutherford, over that water season, so encompassing all of the winter, we got about 70 inches of rain. That's pretty crazy. That's double normal. Got even a kind of a wet late start to the year. And we were thinking, hey, this is pretty good. This is recharging these vines after a long drought period. And then the vintage started, and stuff kind of started going a little crazy. We had big heat waves, May, June, and July that we had to deal with. And when we say heat wave, not just topping 100, but topping at 108, 109 in the valley floor, some pretty hot temperatures. But again, heat waves we can deal with. And we did deal with them. We had all that groundwater reserve for those vines in 2017, and that really helped get us through the summer and get us into harvest. And hopes were high for harvest. And I think that even with all those heat waves, we still saw good fruit development. And then we got into the Labor Day weekend of harvest, and that's when it really got crazy. That heat accelerated the ripening and really spiked the sugars of stuff that was nearly ripe, and really messed with the metabolism of some of the Cabernet grapes that were still not quite yet ripe. And it was really a vintage to kind of trust your instinct about when something was ripe, when something was really ready to bring in. I suppose enough has been written about the fires that started early in the morning on the October 8th, but that obviously had a significant effect upon the end of the vintage. There was only about 20% of the Cabernet grapes still on the vine when those fires hit. And even some of the grapes picked after those fires made blends that has to do with patterns of smoke and all of that. But that story really pales in comparison, I think, to just the pure destructive nature of those fires, which I think in the end, I've got a glass of 2017 with you right here. I think 2017, I think about vintages often in terms of character and their personality, really. And 2017 is certainly one of the most unforgettable vintages.